Hi guys. Chris asked me to drop a video in here because he told me about the post where he had asked folks what they were struggling with or where they are or whether or not they wanted to know the basics. And I think one of the most important basic skills to have in the Shopify world is knowing how to select a product, knowing or having some idea of the criteria that a product should have in order for you to invest money testing it. And there are a number of ways to research products. There's a lot of ad spy tools out there where you can go and pay a lot of money and try and find ads that are currently running and catch that wave right at the right time, which is great. But for me, I really like coming up with it myself or seeing either an ad that's just organic, that's just starting out on my Facebook page, or going through AliExpress and seeing for me what stops the scroll on AliExpress. So when you're on Facebook, you're not shopping in theory, right? You're there to stalk your ex or watch a cat video or watch food being cooked in 25 seconds. And what we're doing is we're putting something in front of them that has such an immediate impact that they want to buy it, that they didn't know until that moment that they couldn't live without this, even though they had no idea what this was 10 minutes ago. So that's our goal. And if that's our goal, then what are some of the criteria that winning products share? So I've been doing this for about a year and a half, and I looked at the products that went well for me. I had one product that had done over $750,000. I'm currently in the middle of a product now doing over $350,000. And this is just one product, right? So in under 3 months, both of these we're talking about. And the current one is in like probably the worst time of the year to sell on Shopify, which was the last couple months. So what do they have in common? What do other products that you know, or I personally have seen go viral? What do they have in common? So I started to do a lot of research about a year and a half ago and try and figure this out. And I'm going to give you the 4 top criteria that I have found that winning products share. Now, obviously not every product is going to share every single one of these criteria, but these are things that are really pretty universal and that you should keep in mind. The first and foremost, without a doubt, is something that solves a problem. And the more universal the problem, the better. I mean, if men and women have it, people who own cars and people who don't own cars have that problem, even better. But at least women should have the problem because women are the people that are buying online. Women over 35, women over 40, they're the ones getting out their checkbooks. So the first example I have of this was one of the first things I ever saw selling on a Shopify store. And it's something, I don't even know what it's called. It's like a mover's assistant. And I guess it comes from like professional movers. You put it over your shoulder and you can put it underneath a big heavy item like a washer machine. And two, small size women could move it in a way that they couldn't move it if they were trying to lift it up themselves. I know you guys who probably know what I'm talking about are laughing at me trying to describe this, but basically, when you live alone and you're a single woman and you're not, a master weightlifter and you want to move something, you got to call a friend, and then you got to make sure you call a friend who's really strong. And then hopefully you got 2 friends so you don't have to be involved. And I use a resource I like to exploit as often as I can, which is called OPH. Now in the money world, that's, there's OPM, which is other people's money. But single ladies, you know who you are out there. OPH is other people's husbands. And this is where we have them come over and kill spiders and move stuff for us. So however you feel about that as a feminist or not, this product solved the problem for us. This product let us lift heavy things. And that was really important. And I know a lot of people, when they were advertising, it was funny, they were advertising it to people who were like movers, which is sort of silly because movers all had that. It was really mere mortals and, weak people that needed that item. But what a huge deal that was because we hadn't seen it before, and it solved this problem that a lot of us have when we move in to a new place or when we're redecorating or we're just trying to get behind the dryer because we dropped a sock, something stupid. So what problem does your item solve? Now, it doesn't have to be life-shattering, right? Skincare products, those are great. Any beauty product solves a problem. The problem with starting with one of those is that in the Facebook ad land, before and after pictures are hard. It's difficult to call people out for something wrong with them. Oh, you have marks on your face. Oh, you're fatter than you want to be. Do this. You can't really say that kind of stuff, even remotely like that in an ad. So beauty products are a difficult one to get in. So if you're going to go with that, go with something that solves a problem, but that people recognize by an image without a before and after what it is. That's just an extra little side tip because you can spend a lot of time getting ads approved and disapproved for things like before and after shots on Facebook. They just don't like that at all. But there's a ton of products out there that solve a problem, and it could be something really little. I saw something the other day. I didn't test it, but it was like a silverware drawer. If you have a really small drawer and it just stacked up your forks separate from your knives, is that a problem that, someone is going to like cry themselves to sleep over at night? No, but it's an impulse shopping. Oh, that's pretty cool. I have a small kitchen. Let me look at that. That over the sink rack. That was a big deal for people who didn't have enough room to put a side rack for drying their dishes or for holding their dishes on their sink if anyone's lived in a small apartment. So don't think of solving a problem as necessarily being like life altering, but just, what do you call it? Project altering, something that they're working on. So keep that in mind. Now, does it have to solve a problem to be viral? Absolutely not. But it's a really good criteria to have. Another one, and the basic idea is something with a wow factor. Again, we're trying to stop their scroll. We're trying to say, hey, look at me, look at me. So you can have things with a wow factor that don't really solve a problem, but they're just so cool. There was that rolling sushi maker for a while that did very well. The talking hamster at Christmas did very well. That was a plush toy that if your kid said something to it, I think it said it back in a hamster voice. And that's a huge wow factor. Now I'm going to give you like a separate sort of extra tip on this. A lot of times people see products, especially like the hamster, stuff like that had their run. It was the Tickle Me Elmo of whatever, 2009 or something. And if it had its run, you think, oh, I'm not going to be able to get into that market. But we all come from different backgrounds, different cultures. We have different hobbies. We have friends with different hobbies. Try something that was wow and think to yourself, who can I wow with this in another audience? So for instance, that talking hamster, after it ran its course as a toddler toy of Christmas last year, it had an early winter as a dog toy. And it was a pretty funny video of a dog barking at a hamster and the hamster barking back in a hamster voice. So, could that makeup kit, makeup brush holder that you're selling, could that be used by someone in arts and crafts? Could it be used by a handyman in the garage? I don't know. We all have these different experiences in our lives and things that we've seen used a particular way. I mean, how many times have you been in someone's kitchen and you're like, what is that? And it's a tool that you had or something you had in your kitchen all your life. And you're like, how do you not know what that is? So look at something in a new way. And if you start marketing it in a new way to a new audience, then no amount of saturation is going to take that away from you. So that's something to keep in mind with things that have like a wow factor, because that can be really cool if you catch on to one of those. I caught on to one of those in January, real, just brief, just shot it up. It went to like $58,000 in 1 month at ridiculous margins. It was something like 35%, 40% margins. And it was just a rocket ship. It exploded and it died, but it was a cool 10, 12K in the bank, right? Just because I looked at this product and I said, oh, wait, I wonder if this group of the population had seen this, because you can also use it for this. So that's something to keep in mind. So far we've got, it solves a problem. It's got a wow factor. We have a little extra tip that the wow factor could be for a different use than the person originally intended or than it was originally advertised for. So you may want to go down to page 16 of Google on that item and say, plush toy for pets, plush toy for autism, plush toy for, any of those, anything that you can add the plus for and just see, maybe there's an audience we don't know about. And finally, it's a really good idea to find something that people need more than one of, or things that are consumable. And when I say consumable, I don't necessarily mean that you consume it in that you eat it, because a lot of the stuff we get from China. I know a lot of people don't like to get stuff that we're going to eat from China. I'm talking about consumable as if we use it once and it's done. So an example off the top of my head would be like a vacuum bag. Okay, so do vacuum cleaners have bags anymore? They used to. All right, you're getting this video from someone who's got a rotary phone behind her, so go with me on the metaphor here. Vacuum bags, you need it. They were in a thing. You put them in. You finish. They fold, and you threw them out. You didn't empty it. Maybe some people did, but you weren't supposed to empty it and put it back in the bag. So something that people want over and over again, or something that people want more of. So some examples. Anything having to do with a car is a really good example, because most people know somebody that's close to them with a car. So it could be like their neighbor, their parent, their son, their brother, their sister. A lot of families have 2 cars. A lot of families have 3 cars. So they might want to buy more than one. Clothing is a big one. If you're in clothing, a lot of people want to buy something in different colors, but it can be in the same order. An example of something that you would use and need again might be some sort of outdoor thing that I don't know, waters something, or it traps a certain amount of water for slow watering, or gets rid of a pest somehow, but it's exhausted after a while. I'm more into the buy two than I am to the buy something that you have to use and throw away. But I'll give you an example of why that's so important. Obviously, you get more sales. Okay, that's math even I can do. But why it's important is you can really advertise at a very low price. So something I was selling in January, it was $12.99 for one, and my average order value was $26. And I was able to say, buy this for $12.99, which was, a really good, entry. Oh yeah, $12.99, it's nothing. It does that. That's great. I could do that. Oh yeah, I'll pick up another. If that means I get shipping for free. And now my average order value goes up to $26, which gives me a lot more room to spend on ads, a lot more money to test different strategies on ads, and more profit in the long run. So right now, the product that's at 350 plus K, the base cost of my first one's $11 for me, because the shipping's pretty expensive on it, and I sell it for 30. But if people buy two, my shipping is the exact same. So I now get $60 because they've purchased two, but my base cost is only $16. It's not $22. So I get all that extra profit. And right now my average order value on that item is about $53. So, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people buy more than one. So, that's a really good thing to keep in mind. And you have those you can either do an upsell app for that. You can make it a variant on your shop for that. So if you're not high tech like I am, I always just say it's a variant, or buy two, get free shipping. And then I change my shipping so that the cost of whatever that double is gets them free shipping. That's the threshold. I might even advertise $50 or more on the site, but I always put in the copy, buy two. And if it's under 50, I just set my shipping for less. So the people who are buying some other product and get free shipping below 50, they're thrilled. And the people that are buying the product I advertised think they're getting it free shipping because they bought two of that particular item. So those are just my quick tips. Chris said to try and keep it short and sweet. I hope I've done that for you, and I hope I've offered you some value here. Just to recap, does it solve a problem? Does it have a wow factor? Will it stop you? Will it stop the scroll? Can you think of something that already went viral that you can use a different way? If that's research you could start doing today, because there's a lot of ways to find out what already went viral. You could see all those tools out there. And just from looking at your Facebook ads, the ads you see over and over again, is this person using it one way and I can think of a different way? That could be golden. And finally, it's something people want to buy more than one of, either at the same time or in a month's time. So I hope that's offered you some value. I hope that's helped. The best thing I can tell anyone, my absolute very, very best advice is get started, because you're not going to make a dime until you get started. The product I sold last year that did $750,000 in the fourth quarter, Chris looks at it now and he's like crying because of all the money I quote left on the table, because I didn't have an email follow-up sequence. I didn't have an upsell. I didn't even know what those things were. But I'll tell you, if I waited around till I had an email sequence and a follow-up and an upsell, I would have made exactly zero. So I'm feeling pretty good about the 750K. And now this fourth quarter, I got all that stuff in place. So when the product I have now goes viral, and it becomes like the best Christmas gift anyone ever wants to buy, she said, hopefully, I'm set. And I don't think Chris will be that mad at me this year. So we'll see. All right. Talk to you guys soon.